Gurudev.
There is a
Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudírayet. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Gurudev. Today, can I request if either Bela or Rinal can share the screen?
yeah, Brahmaraji, just give me a few seconds. Chapter
No
4. Yeah.
Chapter 4, I think we are in verse number 20 or 21.
Okay, dear.
Brahmarpana Brahmaha Vistaka.
Correct, that is the shloka. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. I think it's the next verse. No, not this. The next one. 21. Oh, not even 21, maybe 24. It is Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. Yeah, I think we did all this the last 2 days. Yeah. Bela, can you read?
Yes, my voice is okay, Brahmaraji, because yesterday it is okay.
Voice is fine, perfect.
Okay, okay. The ritual performed by a Gnani is described in the next verse. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Brahma, Brahman, Arpanam is the means of offering. Brahma, Brahman, Havihi is the oblation. Brahma Agnav, in the fire, which is Brahman. Brahmana, by Brahman, Hutam is offered. Brahma Karma Samadhina, by the one who sees everything as Brahman. Tena, by him. Brahma, Brahman, Eva, indeed. Gantavyam is to be reached. The means of offering is Brahman. The oblation is Brahman, offered by Brahman into the fire, which is Brahman. Brahman indeed is to be reached by him who sees everything as Brahman. In the preceding section, the nature of Atma was described as akarta, meaning that the self performs no action. Action takes place based on desire and will, types of thoughts that belong to the buddhi. The physical body, kaya, organ of speech, vak, and the mind, manas, are the three means of action, karanas. Here, the physical body refers to the hands and legs, the limbs that are used to perform action. Any action that is done can be grouped under any or all these three. For example, when you offer a prayer, it can be either a mental or a verbal action or a ritual involving physical limbs. All three involve the mind. If Atma is the body-mind sense assemblage, which is the basis for all action to take place, then I become the actor. Whereas if this assemblage is not Atma, then Atma is free from the body, mind, and senses. It is in the form of pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa, and performs no action whatsoever. Thus, it was said that even while performing action, the wise person does no action whatsoever because doership is not there for the person. It is from the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, Shloka 20. How active a Gnani is means nothing. Also, if the Gnani performs only those actions that are necessary to sustain the physical body, no results will accrue because again there is no doership. Shloka 21. In this way, two types of Gnanis were pointed out. One type is in the thick and thin of various activities, totally engaged in action, and the second type is not. But even for the Gnani who performs activities, it was said that no action is performed. Why? Because the person sees akarma in all karmas, meaning that he sees Atma as actionless in the very activity itself. How much or how little activity you do means nothing. What is important is whether or not you see Atma as a karta. There is no rule about how a wise person should be. One person may be very active and another may be a sannyasi. A sannyasi can also be active or not very active. He may perform only those activities necessary to sustain the body or may be involved in the world because of his prarabdha. Either way, there is no karma for the person and no results accrue to him because there is no doership. In the present verse, we see that for the wise person, all karma and everything connected to the karma is Brahman. In fact, this is what knowledge is all about. There is nothing separate from Atma, which is Brahman. This is the knowledge that makes the person wise. Atma is equated to Brahman. Brahman is Jnana, pure consciousness, and therefore not subject to time, space, or any attributes. It is Satya, pure existence, and Ananta, limitless, which is the basis, the truth of everything. In terms of time, Atma is limitless, and in terms of space also, it is limitless. There is nothing that is independent of this Satya, Atma. Being dependent on Satya, which is Param Brahma, everything else is nothing but Param Brahma, which is Atma, oneself. One who sees Atma as free from action sees Atma as Brahman, and this is Jnana. Therefore, we have to understand Atma as a non-doer, as Param Brahma. With this knowledge, all actions and everything connected to them, including the results, are nullified, negated. The statement made earlier, Karmani akarma yah pashyet, was made clearer when it was said in the last verse that all the karmas of the wise person are totally resolved. Samagram karma pravilyet. To say that a wise person sees akarma in karma implies that there are actions being done. For example, speaking is an action done for which there is someone who speaks, a subject matter, a way of speaking, a reason for speaking, and so on, all of which the Jnani understands as being non-separate from Param Brahma. The Karta or the agent of action is Brahman. The karma or the object of action is Brahman. The karana or the instrument of action is Brahman. And the place where the action is done is also Brahman. This vision that everything is Brahman is unfolded in the present verse by using a Vedic ritual as an example. Krishna is not pointing out the ritual itself here. He is pointing out the wisdom, the vision that is Vedanta. Krishna uses a Vedic ritual to unfold the knowledge. A Vedic ritual is as good as a prayer. It is an action in which a purpose and a result are involved. There is a person who wants a particular result, and there is a method of offering a particular oblation. All the karakas, all the factors involved in an action are presented in this verse: an agent of action, an object, a means, a purpose, a place from where the action is coming, and a place into which the action is going. What Krishna is conveying here is that every karaka is Brahman. The means of offering is Brahman, Brahmarpanam. Here, Arpana means that by which something is offered. Arpyate, anena iti arpanam. Anena, by means of this, arpayet is offered. Arpanam, the means, the instrument with which the oblation is offered into the fire during a ritual. And this could mean both the wooden ladle and the mantra with which the offering is made. Arpayate anena iti arpanam. What is the oblation? Havis. The oblation which is offered is also Brahman. Brahma Havihi. Where is the offering made? Brahma Agnau, into the fire of Brahman. The fire that is Brahman. By whom is the offering made? The offering is made by Brahman. Brahmana Hutam. The Karta, the doer, is Brahman. For what purpose is the offering made? The offering is made for the purpose of gaining Brahman alone. Brahma eva tena gantavyam. By whom? By whom is this Brahman to be gained? By one who sees everything as Brahman. Brahma karma samadhina. Arpana is that by which something is offered. A wooden ladle, for example, or a mantra with which an offering is made. And while offering, a particular mantra is chanted to indicate exactly to which devata or deity the oblation is being offered. For example, the words Indriya Swaha, Indra Idam Namam are to invoke the devata called Indra, and they mean this is being offered to Indra. This does not belong to me anymore. Similarly, Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Idam Namam means this is for Agni. This is no longer mine. In this way, you are not making the devata indebted to you. You offer the oblation to the chosen devata, saying, "This is for you alone. I am giving it to you. It is no longer mine." This then is the meaning of arpana. Whether a ladle or a mantra, how is this arpana separate from Brahman? Nothing is separate from Brahman. Therefore, sound is Brahman, word is Brahman, knowledge is Brahman, Indra is Brahman. Everything is non-separate from Brahman. Because of the wise person's Brahma Buddhi, he or she performs the ritual seeing Brahman in everything. Just as when you see a clay pot, the clay is not missed. Or when you see a golden ornament, the gold is not missed. When you see a shirt, the cloth is not missed. The Satya and Mithya of the ritual. Similarly, when a Gnani sees anything, Brahman is not missed. Brahman being the cause of everything. Brahman being the truth, the Satya of everything. Everything is dependent upon Satya Brahma and is therefore Mithya. This means that Arpana, the ladle, the mantra, and so on are all Mithya. The Arpana is Brahman, Brahmarpanam. The object offered is havis, clarified butter, or any other thing that is offered as the oblation. This is also Brahman, and it is offered by Brahman, Brahmana Hutam. That is, the person who offers the oblation is also Brahman, a fact known to the wise person. Hutam means is offered. This word refers to the act of offering, the kriya. The oblation, havis, is offered unto the fire, Agni, the location in which the act of offering takes place. Here too, Agni is nothing but Brahman, born of Brahman, and therefore non-separate from Brahman. We see then that all the karakas are covered here. The first karaka, the karta, the one who offers, is Brahman. The second karaka, the karma or object, is Brahman. The third karaka, the karana or instrument, is also Brahman. The purpose that takes the fourth case is Brahman. And the fifth karaka, from where the action comes, is Brahman. Because the sixth karaka, the possessive or genitive case, generally does not relate to an action. It does not generally represent one of the six karakas. The sixth karaka, which takes the locative case, is also here in the verse. Here it is said, in the fire of Brahman, Brahmagnav. Therefore, the fire into which the offering is made is also Brahman. Performing a ritual as a doer. If a person performs a ritual for the sake of heaven, he or she is karta. Because I am a karta, I want to go to heaven, and this heaven is separate from me. Therefore, if I do this particular karma, the karma phala will be punya, and this punya I can later encash for a ticket to heaven. This is the meaning of a ritual if I am a karta, whereas if I know that I am Brahman, it is altogether different. Brahman is everything, including heaven. This being the case, what is to be gained by the person of knowledge? Brahman alone is to be gained by the wise person. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. This is to say that nothing is to be gained because the Gnani is Brahman. Gantavyam means that which is to be reached or that which is to be accomplished. Because the person is already Brahman, there is nothing to be gained. Everything being Brahman, there is nothing away from Brahman, and therefore nothing to be gained that is not Brahman. But while this may indeed be a fact, one has to know the fact. Otherwise, the person is a karta. Then, looking at everything in a ritual as Brahman becomes a form of meditation, upasana. Wherever you deliberately superimpose something exalted on something ordinary, there is upasana. Just as you deliberately superimpose the United States on a piece of cloth with so many stars and stripes. Superimposition need not be deliberate always, like when you mistake an object for something else. Without any deliberation, you may superimpose a snake on a piece of rope, for example. This is a mistake, but to take a wooden or stone statue of Vishnu for the Lord is not a mistake, unless, of course, you take the given form alone as Vishnu. This is upasana. Knowledge alone is involved here. Whereas when a person realizes the fact, I am Brahman, it is knowledge, not upasana. Here in this verse, knowledge alone is involved. The ritual being performed by one who sees Brahman in all actions. Brahma, Karma, Samadhi. Seeing Brahman everywhere is called Brahma Karma Samadhi. How can one see Brahman everywhere? If one goes around with eyes wide open, will Brahman be seen in everything? When a chair is seen, do you go beyond the chair and see Brahman? Seeing Brahman is not like looking at a shirt and seeing the cloth. When you see a shirt, you see only the shirt. Obviously, then you do not see Brahman in this way. In fact, you will not see Brahman because you are Brahman. The thought that objectifies the chair is Brahman. The space in which the chair is sitting is also Brahman, and the chair itself, every particle of it, is nothing but Brahman. The object of any thought is non-separate from the consciousness that is Brahman, and the knowledge of the object, the thought itself, is also non-separate from this consciousness. The one who knows, who has the knowledge of the object, is also nothing but consciousness. Therefore, the knower, the knowledge, and the object of knowledge are all Brahman, consciousness, which is Satya. Thus, the statement, I am Brahman, means Atma is Brahman, which is Nirvikalpa, that which does not have the knower, knowledge, known distinction. Gnatra Gnana Gnaneya Bheda. Gnatra Gnana Gneya Bheda. Nirvikalpa does not mean the absence of thought, but points to the non-difference between the knower, knowledge, and known. Because the knowledge is myself, the knower is myself, and the object of knowledge is myself. These three are only apparently different. Thus, to say I am Nirvikalpa is to refer to the knowledge that there is no real difference between the knower, knowledge, and known. This knowledge is always Nirvikalpa, there being no second thing. Whether you know it or not, this knowledge is always there. Similarly, when you see, the seer, the sight, and the seen are all Brahman. And when you hear, the hearer, the hearing, and the heard are also Brahman. Thus, being in any situation is seeing Brahman everywhere. Sarvatra Brahma Darshanam. It is not a matter of opening one's eyes and trying to see Brahman. Brahman is not an object to be seen with the eyes. To see Brahman everywhere is to recognize the fact that the knower, Gnata, is Brahman, the knowledge, Gnana, is Brahman, and what is known, Gneya, is also Brahman. All three are Brahman, but Brahman is independent of all of them. Seeing Brahman everywhere is knowledge. In fact, all three, knower, knowledge, and known, can be shaken off. They can be removed, and they can return to be removed, and they can return to be removed again. You have them, You remove them, you have them, you remove them, and all the while Brahman always is. And the one who has this knowledge, who sees Brahman everywhere, is called Brahma Karma Samadhi. Brahma Karma Samadhi here refers to a person who has a buddhi that appreciates that everything is Brahman. Brahma eva karma, Brahma karma, Brahma karmani samadhi, samahita buddhi, yasya. The footnote 1. Brahmaiva karma Brahma karma, tasmin samadhi yasya saha Brahma karma samadhi. And what is to be gained by the Brahma Karma Samadhi? One who sees Brahman in all action. What is to be gained when everything is Brahman? Nothing except Brahman. Brahmaiva gantavyam. Brahma eva gantavyam. If everything is Brahman, what result can there be? If the doer is Brahman, the done is Brahman, the doing is Brahman, and the reason for doing it is Brahman, where is the result? For whom is the result? And for what purpose is the result? Knowing that everything is Brahman, the Jnani who is engaged in activity performs action for the sake of the people. Loka sangrahartham. Even though there is nothing for the wise person to accomplish, his time is available for helping people. The Jnani requires nothing to be secure or happy, and therefore his time is no longer required for himself. Whatever time is left in the person's life can therefore be given to the people for them to make use of as best as they can. Even if the Jnani does not talk, people can go and sit with him as they did with Ramana Maharshi. He did not talk much and would speak only a few words now and then. This also is a type of teaching, a quiet teaching. When you sit with someone who sits quietly, happily, you also become quiet. Your mind becomes quiet because you have to come back to yourself. What else can you do when the people you are sitting with does not talk? When there is no interaction, you come back to yourself. And what kind of self do you come back to? Not the historical self, because the person you are sitting with is all silence. He does not even blink. The situation naturally takes you back to yourself. This is not enlightenment. It is only experiential. There is some shanti, some peace and contentment. People like this experience and therefore they seek it out. But afterwards, the shanti is gone. It is only something they can remember and talk about, just like when they come out of a movie and talk about how enjoyable it was. This was aspect of experience is there because there is no enlightenment. The experience itself is something you can only recall and interpret in your own way. Still, the person who gives some shanti to people is helping them, and it is certainly better than giving them excitement. Anyone would like to share anything? Please stop me. Anyone would like to share?
In that, the last paragraph,
It is just like Purna Midam, Purna Mada, Purna means even if you take it out, you remain the Brahman, like that. And
Yes.
yes, when you read that, no, I felt that Purna Midam, Purna Mada, Purnat Purna Mudachate. Even if you take it out, you remain the Purna. And if you add it also, you remain the Purna. So there is nothing other than Brahman. It was so good.
It's so beautiful.
Jai Gurudev, you read the last paragraph. I was reminded of the advanced meditation, like we keep the silence there for 5-6 days, and again you come back to your own activities, and how you remember that it was such a bliss when we were not speaking and all was in silence. It just reminded me of that.
But
Yes,
that is one experience.
absolutely.
Phase.
That
It's
is an
not
experiential.
enlightenment.
It's an experiential. Yeah.
After that removal of that, Shanti will go. That is what he has written also.
Yes. To be in the permanent silence, it's a long way to go.
Yes, very true. Coming back to yourself is better than excitement. The rock musician gives people excitement for which they pay money. You sit with the Gnani and you are happy. At least here, the Shanti is free. Excitement may provide some release for pent-up emotions, but coming back to yourself is even better. And it is beautiful as well. Thus, the Gnani who can give you some Shanti is performing action for the sake of the people by not talking. This is exactly what Ramana did. Hundreds of people used to go and sit with him. A few, of course, were disappointed when they realized that he would not talk, but a lot of other people enjoyed the peace and silence. Therefore, a Gnani may be performing a variety of activities for the sake of the people, or he may just sit quietly, an activity that also helps people. In reality, however, whatever is done or not done is still a karma. It is not an action or an activity at all, because all actions, all karmas have been nullified by the knowledge of Brahman. Whatever an actor does on stage, he knows that he is not the role and that the role is himself. He sees this very clearly because of his knowledge that the action he performs is mithya. So too, the wise person knows, I am not the role. I am Satya, and the role is mithya. With all actions come only from the person. He knows that his nature is mithya. This being understood, he performs no action in reality. In this verse, which is unfolding this vision through a ritual, karma is converted into akarma. All the karakas being nothing but Brahman. In this way, the karakas are nullified. Badhita, they no longer exist. When one knows that everything is Brahman, doership is gone. When the doership is gone, there is no real karma anymore. Therefore, in answer to the question, how can one see a karma in karma? Karma is completely negated here and only Brahman remains. For there to be karma, there must be a karta, a doer, who is different from the kriya, the action. one who performs the kriya through the karana, the means of action for a given purpose. There will also be a karma phala, a result, and the person is bound by that karma. However, when the ahankara itself, the one who performs the action, is resolved, that ahankara becomes identical with Brahman. But Brahman is free from the ahankara. Here, one could get confused in the following manner and think that if the ahankara is Brahman and Brahman is not ahankara, all that has happened is that the ahankara has gained a new name. Ahankara becomes a synonym for Brahman. I thought of myself as an ego, ahankara, the doer. Now I have come to know the doer is also called Brahman. Since the doer is Brahman and Brahman is not the doer gains a new name. There is nothing more to it than that. But this is not so. Here the doer is Brahman, doing is Brahman, everything is Brahman, whereas Brahman is free from all of them. From this we understand that there is a karma in the karma itself, and karma itself is badhita, negated. Thus, this verse unfolds the vision of Atma. Giving up karma by knowledge, negating it, is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa. This is also the title of this chapter. Is this verse meant as a form of meditation? Here, Shankara raises an objection and answers it. Why not interpret the verse as a kind of meditation by looking upon the arpana, the offering, as Brahman, just as the Lord is invoked in an idol? Lord is invoked in an idol. But if it were intended to be a meditation, why was it said that the person would gain Brahman? Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. To take the verse in this way would also be ignoring the knowledge previously stated that one sees akarma in karma. The vision of Atma as akarta is the knowledge. Because everyone takes himself or herself to be a karta, there is samsara. Kartritva is indeed samsaritva and nothing else. When you look upon yourself as a karta, you are taking yourself to be the physical body, mind and sense complex. Karya karana sanghata. The body, mind and senses become the I, the Atma for you. This is the only way you become a karta. And if you take the body, mind and senses as Atma, then you are a samsari. This is why kartritva means samsaritva. When the kartritva, doership is there, samsaritva is also there, meaning that there is an enjoyer of the results of action. Karma phala bhokta. Where there is kartritva, doership, there is bhoktritva, enjoyership. And this is what we call samsara.
Bela ji, Jai Gurudev, could you read this para again, please?
Yeah, sure. The vision of Atma as akarta is the knowledge, because everyone takes himself or herself to be a karta. There is samsara. Kartritva is indeed samsaritva and nothing else. When you look upon yourself as a karta, you are taking yourself to be the physical body-mind sense complex. Karya karana sanghata. The body, mind, and senses become the I, the Atma for you. This is the only way you become a karta. And if you take the body, mind, and senses as Atma, then you are a samsari. This is why kartritva means samsaritva. When the kartritva, doership, is there, samsaritva is there, meaning that there is an enjoyer of the results of action, karma, phala, bhokta. Where there is kartritva, doership, there is bhoktritva, enjoyership. And this is what we call samsara. Anyone would like to share? So I think as per Brahmaraji Atma, when you are Indriya Rama, you are the Bhokta, right? And Karta as well. So you are Samsari. Anyone would like to share? The main problem of Sansara, Kartritva, is negated in this verse by unfolding the vision of Atma as a Karta. Therefore, to take it as meditation, for which there can be only a limited result, is not correct. Moreover, the verse also says that Brahman is to be gained. Brahmaeva tena gantavyam. Brahman being limitless is not a limited result. Besides, because the person is non-different from Brahman, there is nothing to be accomplished for one who can appreciate this vision. Thus, the verse is an unfoldment of this vision and as such cannot be a meditation. By presenting a karma, a ritual, Krishna unfolds the knowledge of Atma as Brahman, free from any doership and enjoyership. This is how a karma can be seen in karma. You do the karma and that at the same time, you do the karma and at the same time you see the akarma. You see the karma and you negate it. Just as you see a movie and then negate the reality of it by knowing that the scenes you see are all projected on a plane surface by means of light and shadows. Atma itself is always detached, asanga. It remains clean. It remains clean, just like the screen upon which a movie is seen. This is the nature of a jnani. Atma performs no action. Naiva kinchit karma karoti. And does not enjoy the fruit of action. Na karma phalam bhungte.
This is called that asangoham. When you do the advanced meditation course.
Yeah, very
Asangoham. Asangoham.
yeah, when after the meditation, when Gurudev speaks that shloka, no, it is so
Asango.
blissful.
Yes.
This paragraph is so important. This understanding, if you have, not have any sorrow in life, like a movie, like a movie, just see as a movie. When you come out of the theater, everything is unreal. In the same way, whatever is happening, you detach yourself, all unreal.
Yes. But
My
we
God.
still, knowing this reality, still we continue our role, like Swamiji had given in the previous chapter, that we continue to, even when we are out of the screen, we continue like as a beggar's role you have played, and we continue to play the same role when you come out of the movie also. You forget that you have just played that role and you are
Yes,
out of the movie.
and also chewing like a chewing gum, all whatever somebody said, all this, not.
Yeah.
It is really very deep. This is, this understanding is so important. Oh my.
Yeah. Shall I read the last para again?
Yes, Brahmaraji, please. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Belaji.
Yeah, it's okay. By presenting a karma, a ritual, Krishna unfolds the knowledge of Atma as Brahman, free from any doership and enjoyership. This is how akarma can be seen in karma. You do the karma and at the same time you see the akarma. You see the karma and you negate it, just as you see a movie and then negate the reality of it by knowing that the scenes you see are all projected on a plane surface by means of light and shadows. Atma itself is always detached, asanga. It remains clean, just like the screen upon which a movie is seen. This is the nature of a jnani. Atma performs no action, naiva kinchit karma karoti, and does not enjoy the fruit of action. Na karma phalam bhungte. Because the verse presents the clear vision of Atma as Brahman and Karma as Akarma, no other meaning is possible here. To show that Karma is Akarma, the vision had to be presented in the form of a Karma, and here it is presented in the form of a Yagna. The vision is that all karmas are Brahman, and to praise this vision, Krishna presents other yagnas in subsequent verses. In order to praise something or to understand something, a background is always necessary. For example, to bring out color or shape of a precious stone, a particular background is provided. A frame for a painting is also selected in keeping with the colors on the canvas and those of the surroundings in which it will hang. Here too, the Vedic background of various rituals and disciplines are provided for the knowledge of Brahman unfolded by the Vedas. Swamiji's sense of describing is adorable. So beautifully he's putting in words. Yagnas include various forms of discipline. In the following section, a discipline is called a yagna, and it refers to anything that is to be done or offered by someone for the purpose of self-purification and steadiness of mind. The Lord presents the pursuit of knowledge itself as yagna, jnana yagna, against the background of various other yagnas that are helpful for preparing the mind to gain the knowledge. Daivameva pare yagnam yoginah paryupasate brahma grava pare yagnam yagne naivopajuhyati. Apare yoginah, some yogis, karma yogis, daivam yagna, ritual invoking deities, eva, alone, paryupasate, perform, apare, others, sannyasis, brahmagno, up unto the fire knowledge of Brahman, yagnam, the self, ahankara, yagnena eva, by the self, ahankara itself, upajuhyati, Kshamyatam, upajuhvati, offer. Karma yogis perform only those rituals that invoke the deities, while others, sannyasis, offer themselves by themselves unto the fire, knowledge of Brahman. I'll read once again. Karma yogis perform only those rituals that invoke the deities, while others, sannyasis, offer themselves by themselves unto the fire, knowledge of Brahman. At the beginning of the 3rd chapter, Krishna told Arjuna that he had given the world 2 committed lifestyles. In the chapter 3, verse 3. One lifestyle is sannyasa, wherein the commitment, nishtha, is pursuit of knowledge alone. The other lifestyle is karma yoga, a life of activity, wherein the pursuit of knowledge is coupled with karma. Krishna also made it clear that both lifestyles are for the sake of moksha, liberation. Here in the verse under discussion, both the karma yogi and the sannyasi are discussed. For karma yogis, apare yogina, the enjoined karma is only for antakaran shuddhi, not for any other end. It is for preparing their minds for the knowledge that is moksha, all of which we have seen in the previous discussions on karma yoga. When the karma yogis perform rituals, yagnam paryupasate, the Lord or the Lord in the form of a deity is always kept in view. Anything that is done with the Lord or a deity, a deva, in view is called daiva. Indra is the deva, as is Agni, fire, and Aditya, the sun. Thus, any action done invoking their grace is daivam karma. Karma yogis worship in this way and do not see everything as Brahman as the sannyasis does. They are simply performing rituals invoking the devatas, invoking the Lord's grace for gaining antakarana shuddhi. We know the verse is not referring to those who perform rituals for ends other than antakaran shuddhi, like heaven, etc. Svargadi loka, because the people performing the action here are called yogis. I'll read it again. We know the verse is not referring to those who perform rituals for ends other than antakarana shuddhi, like heaven, etc., svargadi loka, because the people performing the action here are called yogis. Those who are not yogis may perform rituals for the sake of gaining children, wealth, heaven, and so on. There are many rituals in the Vedas that can produce these types of results, and the people who perform them are called Kamya Karmis. Because the word Yogina is used in this verse, we know that the people under discussion perform rituals only for Antakarana Shuddhi alone. These rituals are performed meticulously, meaning that they are performed with Shraddha, with faith, alertness, and in careful adherence to the rules. The prefix pari with the verb upasate conveys the sense of meticulousness with which the yagnas are performed to invoke the grace of the devatas. Apare, which usually means others, is used here to distinguish between the karma yogis and the sannyasis discussed in this verse. I think, shall we stop here for Manana? Or I can read a few paragraphs.
You can finish this shloka. It's 2-3 paragraphs only.
Okay. Offering oneself to the fire of knowledge. In the expression Brahmagno, fire of Brahman, fire stands for knowledge, the knowledge of Brahman. The word yagna, besides meaning ritual and discipline, means Atma, the self. Because there is a sacrifice involved for one who pursues knowledge, knowledge also can be looked upon as yagna and is therefore called Jnana Yagna. In any yagna, there must be a performer of the yagna. Here, the performer of this Jnana Yagna is the seeker, a mumukshu, a jignasu, one who wants to know. The verse points out that the seeker offers himself or herself. Since the seeker alone is offered, who is it that does the offering? If the seeker were offered unto the fire by someone else, it would be a simple case of homicide. But here, because the seeker offers himself or herself, it seems to be suicide, not homicide. And a willing suicide at that. One offers oneself. Yagnam yagnena upajuhvate. Here, yagna means the self. Unto the fire of Brahman is offered the ahankara. The ignorant person looks upon himself or herself as one who has the doership and enjoyership because he or she takes the body, mind, and senses to be the self. It is this small person, the seeker, who is offered unto the fire of Brahman, the knowledge of Brahman. To offer the ahankara unto the knowledge of Brahman is the best form of harakiri. I'll just read the footnote. Harakiri. Harakiri. Belly cutting. Traditional Japanese form of suicide performed in cases of disloyalty to the emperor. Obligatory harakiri was abolished in 1868, but voluntary forms have persisted. Harakiri.
With what reference he has made that? Giving himself means.
Harakiri is a famous this thing. Harakiri.
To offer the ahankara unto the knowledge of Brahman is the best form of harakiri. Means kartritva bhav ko you just offer. I hope
It is like a suicide, they said, no?
The doership is to be like in form of surrender or like it's you do the suicide you
Samarpan.
offer yourself. Yeah, you'll.
Samarpan is the
you finish
beautiful
that.
word, right?
Yeah.
Suicide is a kind of
Yeah, but in relation to the word harakiri, they have written, so it's like you finish that ahankara.
Correct.
The ahankara is made to suicide.
Correct. Swamiji is very blunt in saying that, yes. Yeah, to offer the ahankara unto the knowledge of Brahman is the best form of harakiri there is. The seekers, the sannyasis, offer themselves by themselves into the fire knowledge of Brahman. This means they are both the karta and the karma, the performer of the action of offering and the object being offered. The doer of the Jnana Yajna is myself. The one who knows is myself. What is known is myself. And what is offered unto the fire of Brahman is also myself. This means that I am Brahman. This knowledge that I am Brahman is called Samyak Darshana, clear vision. And being clear vision, it is opposed to the Deva Yajna performed by the Karma Yogis. As Krishna told Arjuna in the 3rd chapter, when sannyasis follow pure jnana, it is jnana yoga, which is the jnana yagna mentioned in this verse. The two types of people are not being compared here, but the two types of yagna, deva yagna and jnana yagna, are being compared. Having said this much, Krishna goes on to describe other yagnas, after which he would again praise Jnana yagnas. The yagnas mentioned in the next few verses are not rituals at all, but because they are disciplines whose purpose is to accomplish moksha by antakarana shuddhi, they are considered to be yagnas. Such disciplines can accomplish two ends. One is a certain composure, a certain tranquility, and steadiness of mind. The second end that can be accomplished is maturity, a freedom from the thraldom of one's raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Thraldom of one's raga dveshas. I did not understand. The second end that can be accomplished is maturity, a freedom from the thraldom of one's raga dveshas, likes and dislikes that hold one hostage. You can release yourself from their hands by prayers and rituals which help you gain certain attitudes. These disciplines can also help you gain alertness and are performed by sannyasis and karma yogis alike. They may be practiced in order to gain moksha or for lesser results, such as a certain degree of composure or discipline in one's life, so that the other disciplines may be practiced. There is no rule governing which disciplines are to be performed by whom. You may choose one on or another, depending upon what you need. I think this we can do it tomorrow, right? Shloka 26. Anyone, anything to be read again, kindly let me know. Otherwise, I can stop sharing the screen. If you want me to read any paragraph, anyone?
The last para you can repeat like it's the take-home message.
No, I read that. You see here, the yajnas, whose next few yajnas, he gives many yajnas, Pitru yajna, that and all that, are not rituals at all. That is very important. You see, the yajnas mentioned in the next few verses are not rituals at all. But because they are disciplines whose purpose is to accomplish moksha by antakarana shuddhi, they are considered to be yajnas. Such disciplines can accomplish two ends. One is a certain composure, a certain tranquility, and steadiness of mind. The second end that can be accomplished is maturity, a freedom from the Thraldom
Threshold
of
of
one's raga
raga.
dvesha. What
I
is
think it will be
thraldom?
threshold.
Thraldom
It means the
of raga
threshold.
dveshas, like and dislikes, that holds one hostage. We were thinking that these are all rituals, They are not rituals. That is a very, very big point I can take in this.
Yeah, you want me to read again, Savitaji? Having said this much, Krishna goes on to describe other yagnas, after which he would again praise Jnana Yagna. The yagnas mentioned in the next few verses are not rituals at all, but because they are disciplines whose purpose is to accomplish moksha by antakaran shuddhi, they are considered to be yagnas. Such disciplines can accomplish two ends. One is a certain composure, a certain tranquility and steadiness of mind. The second end that can be accomplished is maturity, a freedom from the threshold of one's raga dvesha, likes and dislikes that hold one hostage. You can release yourself from their hands by prayers and rituals, which help you gain certain attitudes. These disciplines can also help you gain alertness and are performed by sannyasis and karma yogis alike. They may be practiced in order to gain moksha or for lesser results, such as a certain degree of composure or discipline in one's life, so that the other disciplines may be practiced. There is no rule governing which disciplines are to be performed by whom. You may choose one or another depending upon what you need. I think we can just close our eyes and just for a few seconds, and then please go ahead with the manana. May I stop sharing the screen?
The word the thraldom is like it's the bondage, or one becomes the slave of our own raga and dveshas.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is
Thank you.
thraldom. Huh?
Yeah,
Thraldom. Okay.
Thraldom.
Thraldom.
Thraldom. Okay. Thraldom. A
Thank you.
freedom from the
Savitaji.
thraldom.
That is Savitaji. Thanks, Savitaji. Who gave the meaning?
Yeah. Savitaji, Dr. Savitaji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kindly share your my audio is not clear. It's echoing. So please share your
The coming back to yourself is better than excitement. In that paragraph, the example of Rishi Ramana was given. So it was so, like, it was for me, it was a very like I could experience the silence in which he was there, and how people would be going and sitting nearby. And because he's a rishi, so it's not that he doesn't know what problems people are coming with, and it's not the words that he would speak or that would comfort them, but because he knew each and every person sitting there, he would have known their problems also. And maybe by the time, like when they have reached home, they would have some solution to their problems. I was just interpreting it like the people would be having some results or some solutions. That's why they were coming to him and sitting, and they would be going happily. They would have the confidence that like our problems would be solved. So being a Brahm Rishi, he was sitting in a contemplative mode, and the words weren't necessary for him to convey. Like he
No,
didn't want
it
to show.
happens when
Yeah,
you do advanced course also.
yeah, he didn't want to show that I am doing this, or
Now,
it's
when you do the
power
advanced
I have.
course,
Yeah.
you just do it and go, and all your problems are automatically solved. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's naturally it happens
When you do advanced course and go,
yeah,
everything is automatically solved. So when you are in silence, you are one with the Atma, or in the consciousness, or Brahman. Everything unruffles, all the knots go automatic.
there's a line written there.
This
Therefore,
we have seen
yeah.
ourselves.
Now, the line mentioned in this is also very beautiful. Therefore, a Jnani may be performing a variety of activities for the sake of the people, or he may sit quietly, an activity that also helps people. This line conveys the message, like what.
Here, I think the
Sitting
problems are
quietly is an activity. No? He may just sit quietly, an activity that also helps people.
I think here problems are solved. Sentence. I think we should take it in a more broader perspective, because the problems are there in our small mind. In the bigger picture, maybe I find it problematic that the certain things should be like this, like that, and if they are not like that, like this, then it is a problem for me. But in the bigger scenario, this is the way it is. So I don't think so that all problems get solved. Actually, we transcend when the prana is high, when we sit Upanishad, no, sit near the Brahma Gyani. So our mind transcends from the small mind and comes into the bigger mind. And then if needed, we can skillfully handle the situation, or we totally like it is, this is the way it is, acceptance. The 4 ways Gurudev says, no, how to tackle the problem. So I think the shift happens within us in the presence of the master. That is why suddenly we feel so relieved and lighter that the problems, we transcend the problems actually and become more skillful also. Jai Gurudev. What do
This
you
is
all
very
say?
true. This is very true what you are speaking, Madhuri ji. But it's like it has been mentioned here that hundreds of people used to go and sit with him. So all were not sadhak. There were some common people also going, and common people only seek the results. They are not sadhak. Maybe some may be sadhak, but all of them would not be sadhak. So it's the only the presence of a Brahma Rishi which can do, which can give them result or which can ease their problems. It was just a general statement, like I was, it is there, what you have talked of is very right. But it is only for the momokshus or the people on the spiritual path who are into the self-knowledge. Their attitude would be this, and they would analyze in this form. But the presence of a Brahma Rishi in itself is a very big thing, because they without speaking also they know what problem you have. Because I was just seeing few documentaries on these Brahma Rishis. So it was in each and everything was depicted how they knew the problems of the common man and how they could solve it without saying anything. It was only their own, like the grace is acting through them. It's the divine present in them. So I was just talking about that thing. This line struck me when it was being read. So that thought came. That's why I shared this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very true. Lot of complicated things get simplified the moment we come in presence of the master. All miracles happen.
Like Percy ji gave an example, that he did not said that he was being hurt, his knee was hurt, but he did not say it to Guruji. But when he left, he had the healing was there and he was better. It's the same thing, that's the presence of the master. He knows everything without speaking also.
I see Guruji's presence in every kriya I do. You feel so blessed. You need not have to go in his presence only. In his kriya also you can feel his presence. He is present there.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev, even from the remote place when he's taking meditation, you can feel the vibrations and difference, like you feel him right in front of you.
That's what I think Brahma ji shared, that I was also there in the Bahrain that time. One Muslim teacher had come from Pakistan actually. He was doing the course and he, I think deliberately or by mistake, he did not utter the Om, Then the tape could not start or something like that. It happened. And immediately he got a call from Guruji that time only, pointing him that he has not done Om. Can you imagine that? This was told by a teacher when he came to Pakistani teacher, that too, when he came to Bahrain. This is the power of Guru. He is present in every kriya we do it.
Sureshji, I missed that sentence. That Pakistani teacher, what he missed?
He was doing course, He was taking course.
Okay.
In that, by chance or by, I don't know, he forgot to utter Om 3 times.
Okay.
Then what happens? The tape was not starting. See, every course, every course, what we do is we put the tape. Many times we pray and put it. It works, but it was not starting. And I think Guruji was in other country. He was in Qatar or some, I don't know where he was. That time a call came and he took the call and Guruji pointed out that you have not uttered the Om. Can you imagine this
My God.
happening?
Yeah,
Such is the
somebody
power
said,
of.
yeah, so some teachers were talking to Gurudev that this teacher is really taking so big courses, this, that.
Yeah.
But still this problem is happening with this teacher. इतने इनके बड़े बड़े कोर्सेस तो गुरुजी ने बोला कि जब वो टेप ऑन करता है तो उसने मुझे याद किया means all the magic happens only because of Guru's grace. So we need to surrender, pray to him, and then all
Always
will
I
be
do
okay.
whenever I take the follow-up, before putting tape, we always tell, do with full respect and reverence to the highest knowledge we have received.
Correct.
And pray for him and then put the tape. Whatever tape, it just happens. Otherwise, there will be something, connection problem there, this, etc.
I'd like to state here two things. One is in one of the TRMs, he was telling about one teacher whilst taking the long kriya on his mobile phone, he was playing some games. He just admonished him that should you be playing games, like that is a time when you connect with the people get connected to you. So he is there, his presence is there in every course. Is one thing that I wanted to share. And the second thing I want to say is that I was taking an advanced course at Badlapur in Riki Jagat Ashram. And the Riki grandmasters were undergoing the advanced course. Before becoming grandmasters, they have to undergo an advanced course. Reiki is another alternate form of healing, just like pranic healing. But Reiki uses touch. You touch the person. Pranic healing, you don't touch the person. After doing meditation in motion, where you take your hands up for 10 minutes and you bring them down, we have a process called Main Hoon, I am. And in that ashram, there is no electricity. It runs on a generator. There is a standby generator. And those were days when we used to have cassettes on which we used to play. The first generator, it just conked off. Standby generator was not working. My tape recorder had batteries in it, but the sound was coming from both sides of the tape. I just fell on my knees and I reached out to him that whatever had to be done. I had a standby tape recorder, same thing happened. I just fell on my knees and I reached out to him. Okay, whatever was possible, I've done. Now I leave it to you. I surrender it to you. Then I told one of my volunteers that just start the tape. And that person was shrieking, go and get, that lady was shrieking, the lady volunteer, go and get another tape recorder and all that. And one of the grandmasters just told the other volunteer that she's not even listening, go and start the tape recorder. And the IM process started. This grandmaster shared that you reached out in prayer to him, we could see a beam of light from your head going towards the sky. Were you reaching out to him? I said, yes, I just surrendered to him. It was so apparent. And the tape recorder started. Especially, he tests us also as to how grounded we are as teachers taking courses. This has happened twice with me in the IM process. You just need to stay grounded at that time, not get shaken up.
It happens many times, even in taking follow-up also, many times. Once the power went, but the tape was running. I don't know why, how, I could not even guess it. It happened to me. There were about 60 people, I think. And I was just praying that immediate. We could feel the presence. We could feel. Therefore, I always tell people, anytime, don't feel that Guruji is somewhere and you are not connected to him at all. You do Kriya, he is with you. That's it. Daily, if you do Kriya with him, in your home also, he is with you, along with you. Just feel that, Then do the Kriya. See the Kriya, how it happens, how the everything. Good. This is what is bhakti is.
We have crossed the time.
Yes, Jai Gurudev, with that feeling of gratitude, we will, it's today's session, the contributions were so good. So with that, those all pleasant memories for the day, we will just conclude here. Om Namah Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Dirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Loka Samastan Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastan Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Dhanyavad. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you so much.
Thank you.